Chapter 12, Section 3. The Collapse of Reconstruction. Before you read. In the last section, you read about the effects of Reconstruction on the South. In this section, you will learn how Reconstruction ended. Opposition to Reconstruction. What was the Ku Klux Klan? Many Southerners did not like the notion of greater rights for African Americans, especially the right to vote. Some Southern citizens formed terrorist groups that opposed rights for African Americans. One such group was known as the Ku Klux Klan. This group used violence to keep blacks from voting. The Klan and other groups also tried to prevent African Americans from making economic progress. They killed livestock that belonged to African Americans. They attacked African Americans who owned their own land and forced them to work for white landowners. In 1872, Congress weakened the power of the Republican Party in the South. Many white Southerners had complained about Republican abuses of power during Reconstruction. They claimed that Republicans kept many white Southerners from reaching public office. As a result, Congress passed the Amnesty Act in 1872. The act gave many former Confederates the right to vote. Southern Democrats began to regain power in the South. Question 1. What did the Ku Klux Klan attempt to do? Scandals and money crises hurt Republicans. Economic turmoil. What weakened the Republican Party in the early 1870s? Meanwhile, corruption and scandals hurt the Republican Party nationwide. General Ulysses S. Grant had been elected president in 1869. Though Grant was not corrupt, many people in his administration were. The Panic of 1873 further upset the nation. Many investors had taken advantage of the expanding economy after the Civil War. Some took on more debt than they could afford. Many could not pay their debts and went bankrupt. As a result, many banks closed. A nationwide depression soon followed. Question 2. What caused the Panic of 1873? Judicial and popular support fades. Democrats redeem the South. What brought Reconstruction to an end? In the mid-1870s, several Supreme Court decisions weakened the power of the 14th and 15th Amendments. At the same time, more and more people in the North wanted to reconcile with the South. As time passed, the nation focused on the scandals and the economic problems of the nation. The country began to lose interest in the problems of the South. As Republican power in the South weakened, Southern Democrats began to recapture many state governments. Democrats referred to their return to power as redemption. In 1876, Republicans decided not to run Grant for a third term. Instead, they chose Rutherford B. Hayes. The Democrats ran Samuel H. Tilden. Tilden won the popular vote. However, he fell one vote short of the number of electoral votes needed to win. Congress appointed a commission to settle the election. Democrats and Republicans made a political deal called the Compromise of 1877. Democrats allowed Hayes to become president, and Republicans agreed to withdraw federal troops from the South, ending Reconstruction. The 1876 elections also brought an end to Republican influence in Southern state governments. After the elections, Democrats, called Redeemers, controlled every Southern state government. Using the power of home rule, or the ability to run state governments without the interference of the federal government, the Democrats made sweeping changes. They restricted the rights of freed slaves. They wiped out social programs and got rid of public schools. In the end, Reconstruction had failed to gain equal rights for African Americans. However, the 14th and 15th Amendments remained part of the Constitution. In later years, these amendments would be used to strengthen African Americans' rights. Question 3. In what two ways did the 1876 elections signal the end of Reconstruction?
Chapter 25, Section 2. The War for Europe and North Africa. Before you read,